automatic doors are undoubtedly a mark of luxury. We see them in cars like Rolls-Royces as well as BMW 7 Series today, but those cost a pretty arm and a leg. This car today we're seeing is the Aion Hyptec HT in luxury trim, and it comes with this gullwing doors for the rear and automatic doors for the front. Is this the model to hype things up for this segment? Let's find out. Now, if you're thinking about trading in your car to buy a car like this Aion Hyptec HT, try selling it with Coates instead.
Coates helps you sell your car quickly and easily. With the new Coates doorstep, get a professional inspection by our certified mechanics at your convenience anywhere on the island. Coates will then auction out your car online to its wide network of dealers to bid on your car. Once bidding is complete, Coates will update you with their best offer price at no obligation. It's that easy.
To find out more, visit quotes.com.sg. That's QUOTZ.com.sg. Now, let's find out more about this car.
The Hyptec HT is priced from $225,000 to $255,000. The single electric motor produces 335 brake horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque. The single-speed transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.8 seconds. The 83 kWh battery provides a drive range of up to 520 km. For more details on the Hyptec HT or any other car, head on to Sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car.
Now, starting off in front, this of course is the Aion brand that we first see on the YPP as well as the Aion ES, but this is a Hyptec, which is a sub-brand of the Aion brand, which is more focused towards giving you a luxurious experience, and this car does that pretty well. Overall, by the front, you see bulbous lights right here, like two little domes, like two eyes. It kind of reminds me of the Macan of a few generations back. Down here, inside here, you get headlamp, fully LED with some crystal-like daytime running lights. Down here are your slits for your signal indicators, and you get active grille shutters as well down by the splitter down here. Now, these active grille shutters can work to cool the car better or provide better aerodynamics. Now, onto the side. Now, over by the side of the Aion Hyptec HT luxury trim, you're going to find 20-inch rims that are standard across their two variants here in Singapore. On the lower end, you're going to be finding the premium trim, which comes with pretty much everything exactly the same power, same battery, except without gullwing doors and without automatic front doors. You're going to find 20-inch rims as standard across the two and a little bit of caliper differences between the two. Now, other than that, you're still going to find plenty of safety, 540 cameras around the car. These little bumps here, however, are limited to the luxury trim because on the premium trim, you don't get automatic doors, but the door handles can fold out so that it's easier to reach. But on the luxury trim, ironically, they don't fold out because you can do this instead. One press and the doors open automatically. Now you're gonna notice frameless windows that are double walled right here, so they block out sound and they are very nice to look at. One press to close this. Now, with those proximity sensors, obviously they will not bump into other cars. So let's say you're parking next to them, then they won't touch them. Now, moving down the sloping silhouette of this Aion Hyptec HT, you're gonna find this button right here, opening up this automatic gullwing door, which at first might seem gimmicky. Trust me, I thought it was. But after a few days with this, you just get so used to this. Now, a little bit more on that later. There are plenty of buttons to open and close. Let's say you're sat inside, you can close the door from here. Outside, you can close the door from here or from there. And of course, you can also use the remote to just, and the doors will close automatically. Of course, all these proximity sensors also prevent the car, whether from opening too wide to the side to hit other cars or too tall to the top to hit the ceiling. This is a massive car coming in at just under 5 meters. It's longer than the Xpeng G6, it's longer than the Tesla Model Y, it's longer than the BYD Sea Lion 7. Now let's move on to the rear. Now, moving down the rear of this Hyptec HT, in today's age, coupe SUV rooflines are the name of the game, but with almost 5 meters in length, you're gonna have plenty of headspace inside there. Now, if you take a look at this duckbill spoiler right here, the way the rear tail lights are set up, you're gonna get very nice crystallized light right here. One single line LED running through the rear, Aion badging right here, Hyptec and the model name HT. Now, if you open up this powered tailgate, you're gonna find 672 liters worth of boot space. It will eat up the anti-trolley length test, no problem at all. We don't even have to show you because it's already right there. The trolley also set very, very comfortably in the boot. There is plenty of boot space, and if you compare it to its competitors, it blows them out of the water. Now, if you're going to be looking to have even more space, you can definitely pull down this boot floor, open up to a much deeper boot right here with a vehicle kit, reflective vest, and a triangle should you need it. Now let's check out the inside. Oh, and in case you're wondering, the charge port is on the left side and it takes up to 280 kilowatt DC fast charging, 10 to 70% in just 15 minutes. Now, getting into the rear of the Hyptec HT is as easy as that because of this massive ingress-egress area right here. Now, just close the doors, just one touch like this. Because of its elongated size, almost 5 meters, there is plenty of space for you to lean back. And in fact, if you want more space, you can recline the seats as such, but in a more normal setting. It is a coupe SUV, so your head space is a little bit limited, but there is also this special slot right here, which is also the moonroof. One little slit right here, one little slit right here, and another rectangle up front. But space in the middle, if you're sitting up, it's quite spacious. It is very long. Lengthwise, I have plenty of leg room, a little bit of headroom extended by the glass here, and the material inside here is this leather and soft touch felt, so it is quite lively. The ambient lighting brightens it up along with this orange, but there are a few colors for interior options. One thing about these Chinese cars though is they have this kind of little nut for the windows that normally when you think goes down, it goes up. It's kind of like that MacBook reverse natural scrolling direction. One car brand that I've seen do it differently here is Cherry. So for the J-Cool cars, they've had it straight from the factory to down means down and up means up. But otherwise, this one, think of it kind of like a lever. If you want the windows to go down, you push it up. If you want the windows to go up, you push it down. So like this. Now over in the front, you have plenty of leg room and also a tray table for you to pull out. If there's nobody in the middle, you can pull down this armrest with hideaway cup holders, as well as rear aircon for the rear. It is a flat boot floor, plenty of space. If there is somebody sitting in the middle though, your head space is going to be quite limited. I'm 1.75 meters, so my head is pretty much touching the ceiling here. Otherwise, just shift on over to the side and things are going to be a lot more comfortable. Now, one thing that I've also noticed is that because it's an EV, you can run it like kind of run your aircon all the time. If you are out by the park, you can just sit inside here. It's kind of like a little pavilion by itself. Now, let's move on to the front. Now, over in the driver's side of the Aion Hyptec HT, things are simplified, things are refined. It's a nice place to be in. You get ambient lighting right here, all this orange colored leather material right here. The doors are a little bit tricky though. I like the design here. It's not exactly a handle, not exactly the most functional, but it looks nice along with this ambient lighting. Your door handle, or rather door open button, is actually right here, and again, because they are automatic doors, they will open automatically unless there's something blocking right next to them. And if you just want them closed, step in, foot on the brake, and it will close very, very pleasantly. Now, your steering wheel is a very nice padded center Aion logo. There are two ball adjusters at the side, one for your volume and one for your smart cruise control, and you also get to one for call and another one for your voice assistant, which can otherwise be activated by saying, same as the Aion, hey baby, hello baby. It's kind of a Chinese thing. I've learned in my time in China where they try to make it more, the Chinese like to give it cutesy names like hello darling, hello zebra. So this is kind of a leftover from that side, instead of where the more European ones would tend to say hello brand and they will activate their voice assistant. But otherwise, the left side controls your media volume and the right side controls your cruise control settings. You get your gear shift right here, kind of like the old Mercedes. So down for drive and down twice for active cruise control and lane keeping assist. Push in for park. On the right side is your wiper stop as well as your high beam stop. Now, one thing I do have to say I really like about the design is that while these are plastic, they've used the kind of thicker, kind of high texture plastic, so it doesn't feel cheap at all. In fact, it feels very nice to use it every day, and it's a very minor thing, but even the plastic here feels really nice. Up front, you got your instrument cluster right here, fully digital, very high refresh rate, very fast, very sharp graphics, and a little bit more on that during the drive later. One thing I don't like is how it's kind of protruded. It's a nice thing to have it at your eye line, so it's kind of like a replacement for a heads-up display system, but I would like if it was more integrated, like perhaps it was sewn into the dash somehow and had a little bit of a cover. Right now, it looks like an aftermarket piece that was placed on top of here. Now, the rest of the dash is a very nice leather material, perforated leather. And then up here, you get a very big infotainment screen. Currently, Android Auto is not available, but Aion says that it will be coming later in the year through OTA updates over the air, so it will automatically be added to your car. However, currently, if you are using Apple products, then you are in luck because there is wired Apple CarPlay. Now, the rest of the menu is very intuitive. UI UX is very nice. You get matte display up here that you can also mirror inside your instrument cluster. But otherwise, I like to look at the ADAS system with the lane keeping, lane marking, so it's very easy to see at which part of the lane or whether or not your ADAS systems are on. This is going to be kind of like your Xpeng G6 or your Tesla Model Y, where many controls are locked behind the screen right here. So first of all, your lock and unlock is through the screen on this menu bar right here that doesn't ever go away. So that's good. That's one touch to reach all of those systems. But things like door controls, so whenever you are parked, one thing I wish they would have is physical buttons for the door controls so they don't ever go away. So let's say you are dropping somebody off and you want to open the door for them, you have to open through right here within the menu. Open the menu, go over to the car display screen, switch control, and then open the door. I've noticed that when I'm dropping a passenger off and I open the passenger side door, the 360, the 540-degree cameras do tend to come on. So after that, when you do want to close the door, you have to dive through the menus again. But other than that, you can control all of your gullwing doors. You can even open the tailgate from here, charging port as well. Go into the lighting system, you can control your headlights, so they aren't on the stop here or a knob here. They have to be accessed through the menu, so things like intelligence, high beam, and of course, auto lights, or you want your headlights to be on manually, you have to dive through the menu for that. Ambient light as well as light show, kind of like a Tesla, can be accessed through the menu. Other things that for the front passengers, you get electronic seats in addition to ventilated and massage seats, but they also have to be accessed through the screen right here. So every single time you get into the car, which is what I do, I like my seats ventilated, and if they have massage, I do like to turn them on as well, but that's the first thing I do. Get into the car, turn on seat ventilation as well as seat massage, which lasts for maybe 5 to 10 minutes per cycle. Now, another thing is that the car is stocked full plenty with ADAS options, and I do like that they have a few options for your drive mode as well as a mild and sport, and a custom for you to customize the pedal control all the way from least to most responsive. So things like steering wheel controls, how stiff you want it to be. They have a nice little progress bar for you to choose whether you want it light all the way or you want it to have a little bit more resistance. So that is a nice shifter. Same with the custom driving control. One thing that I would prefer is that for the aircon controls, again, it's inside the menu, but it is also following that menu bar option. So it is 1 to 10, but I think for things like fan speed, even though you can one touch, I would prefer it for it to be easier to navigate system, so that one touch you can go to 3 as opposed to finding out on the menu bar how far you want it. Those are very minor things, because once you've gotten used to it, for the rest of the car, things are very easy to get to. One other interesting thing is that for this car, you do actually have a fragrance disbursement system. So over here in the smart cabin, you can go over to fragrance and you get 3 settings: grass, elegant, or ripple wheat, as well as how intense you want those fragrance to be dispensed throughout the cabin. Now, I asked Aion what happens if, well, the fragrance is sure to run out, right? It's running on some sort of liquid, I would guess. Of course, going back to service with Aion, and they can top it up for you. Now, for the rest of the car, it does have a very nice design in the menus. UI UX, there are 540-degree cameras. I like that the shortcut buttons here can be pre-programmed, so one touch for the 540-degree cameras to come on whenever you're driving, so you never have to worry about your front tires or your rear tires hitting onto something. But important to note that this, unlike many of its competitors in the market right now, this does not come with automatic parking, even though it has a lot of sensors around the car. Now, for all that being said and done, I do like this cabin space. You move down here, physical aircon vents, which are a nice touch rather than also having to go through the screen for that. You get two pads right here for your phone, but only the one on the right side has wireless charging. The one on the left side does not. Then there's a little bit of a floating space right here. You get two USB-C charging, one for the data connection and one for a charging connection, as well as a USB-A port right here, two cup holders, and a very nice wooden finish material. If you're not using the cup holders, you can hide it away like this, and then move down here, you get another cubby space right here that's rather deep. So another thing about most of these Chinese EVs, they have these kind of relaxation modes, but this one has one additional one. So you have your rest mode where it will let you pull the seat back and give you an alarm. You want to rest for 30 minutes, you can sleep. While the aircon runs, it'll wake you up. The seat will recline, get into a very comfortable position. There are natural sounds, so kind of like the Hyundais, the hybrids and the EVs can relax to the sound. So this one has an interesting one, so it lets you mix the levels. You want some rain, right? Maybe you want a very rainy night. But you want it to be a calm rain, you don't want any wind. So you can turn off the wind. It was off. So you have the sound of rain. If you want it to be breezy, storm, there's wind as well, right by the ocean, maybe on a cruise ship. And on the cruise ship, your neighbor has lots of birds. And then there are bird songs as well. And then thunder strikes. Not the Imagine Dragons one. And the birds need to eat insects, so the insects are chirping as well. I don't know how, altogether it's not really that relaxing, but you can customize the kind you like. And shut up radio. And then one other, campfire, which by itself is not that new. I think the Tesla has a Yule Fire lock mode as well. But what do people like to do at campfires? They like to hear the cracking of logs, right? So you have a function right here to add firewood. The more firewood you add, the more cracking you get. This sounds like an inferno now, but... And if you take away the firewood, then I suppose it's like a stove. And another few things, I like this touch light bar up here. It's very minor, but this frosted glass bit looks really, really good. The speaker has Dolby Atmos surround speakers, so it's gonna sound really, really nice when you're driving, in addition to the feel of the cabin and the ambient lighting. Night drives are gonna be fantastic in this. And one more thing, if you're taking a call, they'll come through from the headrest speakers right here, so it's like a private conversation between you that's easy to pick up for the call, and it's very nice to have it coming direct from here, very similar to the Expo G6. It's a very nice looking space, but does this car drive as well as it looks? Only one way to find out. So, driving the Aion Hyptec HT Luxury, what does it feel like? Well, it feels luxurious. Inside here, I think a lot of Chinese EVs, especially if you've been to China, you've taken a few nice EVs, which is their version of Uber, then you start to realize that it starts to get very homogeneous. The cars in the premium segment all feel like this kind of material, soft touch over here. It's nice, and this, to me, this orange is a little bit over the top, but the material is nice. And that was my initial thoughts when I first entered the car, but driving this over the past few days, it's really started to grow on me, this Aion Hyptec HT. And the drive is nice, it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's got some very strong amount of power. And personally, I think a name like Hyptec, which is hyper and technology, it tricks me, it gives me this illusion of sporting, this kind of raw, hyper amount of power. But driving this car, you feel like it's more set for luxury, set for comfort. It's a more, you can floor it, and it does have a good amount of power, but it delivers the power in a very soft, very muted kind of way. And in a way that says, yeah, I've got the power, but I don't need to go all out all the time. It's the kind of driving that's perfect for ferrying people around, you know. You can get a very smooth power curve all the way from 0 to 100, and the car always has more to give. And keep in mind, this is just, it's not even like a performance variant, but this is so far what I feel Hyptec is bringing to the market. And driving it on the roads right now at about 90, it's quiet, it's refined. The steering inputs are soft, they're not 100% direct, they're not 100% raw, but it's a very nice way to control the car. And then immediately, as you're driving, you look down, it falls onto the instrument cluster. I like this instrument cluster. I have a few nitpicks with it, but first of all, it's very sharp and it's very high refresh rate. And that is what you want, especially in a car that you're paying a premium price for. First of all, you can see your ADAS systems, you can see the lane markings, and it's refreshing very quickly. I can see the cars in front, in the lane over, I can see motorcycles on it. And my blind spot monitor is not just on the mirrors as indicator light, it also shows up inside the instrument cluster if it's my third quarter and it lights up in orange to let me know that, you know, if you want to move over to the next lane, just be careful. And overall, it's a very, very lively interaction screen, and I love that, because the last thing that you want is to have a screen that's sort of slow refresh and it's just not that the information isn't coming through in real time. And one of the best ways to test this, especially if you're in a car like this Aion Hyptec HT, is when you put the pedal to the metal and then you just watch those numbers climb up really quickly in real time. So it tells you it's very, very lively information. Another thing is that in terms of safety inside this car, it comes with pretty much everything. Active cruise control, front collision warning, front collision, automatic emergency braking, level 2 self-driving, so tap down on the pedal stop, kind of like other brands, and your active cruise control is turned on. We're currently on the expressway around Yishun, and there's a slight gentle curve to the right, and I like that it shows me that exactly on my instrument cluster. So it's a very precise way of reading the road. Some of the older cars, before, they would tell you that your lane indicators that are static, that are always straight, turn green and they go yellow when it's starting to tell you that they're not sure where the road is going. So you're not sure if it's 100% reading the road, but this gives you very, very distinct information. And I want to say that it's a Chinese thing. Certain of the Chinese brands on the higher ends are starting to get there, and it's really refreshing. On the rest of the UI, I have to say, if you've watched a lot of the other reviews, I find that most Chinese brands fall behind a little bit in terms of UI UX, and it kind of takes you out of that illusion of, wow, you're getting a very premium product in this price range. But that is not one thing that the Hyptec HT does. It has a very nicely designed UI UX in terms of your infotainment screen right here, in terms of your instrument cluster. So it really feels like an overall premium product. The last thing that you want, especially if you're paying a little bit of a premium price, $200,000+, the last thing that you want is to have a screen that just looks like it kind of just does the bare minimum. And in that sense, the Hyptec HT delivers really well. In terms of power, it delivers 335 brake horsepower from its single electric motor to the rear wheel. So this is a rear wheel drive, and 430 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 5.8 seconds. So for a car of this size, a car of this heft, it is no slouch at all. I have to say, though I like driving in sport, and even in this, I like about the Hyptec HT is it gives you a custom setting that really lets you toggle all the way how much pedal response you want. And I've set it to all the way because I like to drive that way in EVs. But even then, it doesn't give you that kind of raw power delivery. It's still a very soft, gentle curve along the way. But plenty of power, 5.8 seconds, this thing is no slouch. And especially when you think about a car of this segment, almost 5 meters inside the Aion Hyptec HT. I believe it is one of the longest EV SUVs in this segment, and just a single merging onto another faster lane is zero problem at all inside a large SUV of this size. And that brings me to my next point. Inside the Aion Hyptec HT, though it is a rather large, long, wide car, driving it kind of shrinks down, and that's the kind of thing that you want, especially inside a large touring car. You want to feel comfortable on the road. You want to feel the car shrink around you. It's not unwieldy. It's very easy to control. And even if you kind of feel a little bit unconfident behind the wheel, one touch opens up its 360 cameras, or two taps opens up its active cruise control. So going around, no problem at all. And it just inspires confidence, whether it is for you, the driver, or for the car to take over the driving itself. In terms of comfort, a car of this size, it is very, very comfortable. It soaks up road imperfections and comes with ease, and that's owed to its front double wishbone suspension, rear multi-link. So cruising inside here really does make things feel like you're riding on a cloud. And the good thing is, inside this segment, this kind of suspension is quite commonplace to be found, and it just really makes the whole experience a lot more comfortable. In terms of handling, I would also say that this is a car that you want to be, for the most part, fetching your rather large family around. It has plenty of power, it has plenty of give, but it's not exactly something that I want to throw around. And that's not to say that this car can't be thrown around. It can still be thrown around with relative ease and good control of the road. But it's a car that really makes you feel like I'm just cruising around town at my own pace and nobody's bothering me. It's a car that makes you feel like you just want to go around all day, all night, very comfortably, very gently. And while you have a good amount of power, there's nobody that you need to impress. It's a car that makes you feel refined. With all that said and done, if you ask me, is this Aion Hyptec HT will buy, won't buy, or go try? Well, if you ask me, I would say that this car is a very close go try. This car brings a lot to the table that currently isn't on the market. Automatic doors, gullwing doors. It really brings, I feel like it's one of the Chinese EVs that's really stepping up to the luxury name, and it's really delivering all of that, and not in a way that kind of feels like, well, they're just saying, oh, we're very luxurious, but when you sit inside, it doesn't really feel that way. It's a very enjoyable space to be in. It's a very enjoyable experience, and it really is making me rethink my level of what I feel a luxury car should deliver, especially for this price point. Currently, this Hyptec HT luxury trim is going for some 250,000 Singapore dollars. If you go for the premium trim without the gullwing doors and automatic front doors, and those are pretty much the biggest changes within the two trims. Power, battery, everything else is pretty much the same, and that's going for 230,000 Singapore dollars. So the difference of 20,000 at first before testing, if you ask me, I would have questioned, are those doors really worth the price? And after testing, I can tell you that yes, those doors really do make, number one, a statement piece that's really a difference between the two trims, and number two, not just a statement piece, but the quality of life upgrade with automatic doors and gullwing doors. The other day, I just came back down to the car. It was drizzling, it was raining. To take something from my bags, double tap on the key fob, and the gullwing doors open up. And because of the amount of space in the rear, I could just sit very comfortably. Keep in mind, this is Hyptec HT is almost 5 meters. In this segment, one of the longest cars in this class. And I just sat behind, and it almost felt like a little pavilion by itself. You're shielded up on top, your music's playing, coming through the car. It's an EV, so you're not worrying about battery, you're not worrying about wasting petrol. Music is coming through the front, there's a little bit of aircon, and then you're feeling the wind, you're listening to the outdoors rain. It's like a mobile pavilion that you could bring anywhere, and you can just have a picnic like that. And not to mention, of course, the gullwing doors itself. That is something that you have to try out. But in terms of competitors, namely, there are quite a few. Immediately comes to mind Xpeng G6 long range, Tesla Model Y facelift, and of course, can't forget the BYD Sea Lion 7. Now, in terms of power, in terms of numbers, in terms of battery, in terms of price, this comes very, very close to the Xpeng G6 long range. And if you ask me, I feel like this car has quite a bit more flair to the Xpeng G6 long range. The automatic doors, the way the instruments are designed, the overall feel of the car. If it's between the two, I would like to pick this Aion Hyptec HT. Now, if you look at the Sea Lion 7, then the price difference does start to come in, and it does stretch quite a bit. So for some barely over $200,000, you could get the base Sea Lion 7 trim. And this Aion Hyptec HT for the non-luxury trim, the premium trim, is still some $220,000. So you have to ask yourself, and the Sea Lion 7 is not a shabby car at all, not by any measure. So for some $20,000, is all this flair what you want? Because even if you go for the Sea Lion 7 performance trim, and that's some $230,000, that is also still some $20,000 difference from the Aion Hyptec HT luxury trim. So in a very competitive segment, Xpeng G6, Tesla Model Y, they're all around this Aion Hyptec HT's price. But then there's this competitor that comes in and really brings a big delta to the numbers. So there is some strong consideration there. And that's why, as much as I really enjoyed driving this car around, the amenities that it provides, the hits that it turns, I have to say that this Aion Hyptec HT is a go try. So that's it. That's our review of this Aion Hyptec HT luxury trim. What do you think? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know down in the comments below, as well as any other feature of this car, any other car that you'd like to see us review. Do leave it in the comments and I'll read every single one of these. Now, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our future uploads. And lastly, do follow us on TikTok for the fun stuff. We are at Sgcarmart. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. It's kind of starts to get what's the word? Then this brings me to my next point, where inside the Aion Hyptec HT, this range is by the ocean, so there's ocean waves. Oh, you can turn it off. I said off. No, that's the range. Sorry, 9 by 1.9 by 1.7. Beep.